Hello Internets, welcome back to some more Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and today we're going to be looking once more at my favorite blade in the entire game. This is Poppi QTπ, or as I like to refer to her, Hana Judgment Day mode. She is, as I've said many times before, potentially the strongest blade in the entire game, and the way that I've currently built her, she is potentially able to solo every boss, provided that you play her properly. Every core that I have, every attribute that I've given to her, she can solo bosses in less than 10 minutes. Like Tyranitar Kuradil, it would take about anywhere between like 5 or 6 minutes depending on how things go. But yeah, that is essentially the gist of what's going to be happening. The build is pretty simple. As you can see over here, she has an S+ ranking. This means that you're spamming your pouch items while also completing the affinity chart, all the way from S, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then finally plus, which is 10, and that is the highest it can go. Now, before I actually get into Poppi QTπ's actual build, I also just want to have a quick look at the other Poppies. As well, we're going to look at Tora's accessory build and pouch items. So before we actually do that, let's look at the pouch items first. First, there is Astrology Made Simple and Char-Grilled Grumbird. The reason why I want this is because I want specials to be 24% more powerful, as well as having recharge arts by 0.4 each second. These can be slightly squished if you need to have maybe more ether defense instead of physical damage, but this is what works for me in the fight that we're going to be doing today. There is also going to be the accessories. The accessories are pretty standard fare: Overclocking Bangle and World Tree Drop. The reason why I want the World Tree Drop and Overclocking Bangle is just because I want to have the additional 250% damage. Poppi is one of the few blades that can benefit from that while still maintaining crit heal. It's extremely useful, and I recommend trying it out if you just want to have really high damage. So when it comes to the other Poppi forms, so there's going to be Poppi QT, and with her, she actually has, hang on, let me just look at the parts right now. There's actually nothing particularly special about her aside from the fact that I've given her the muscle mod. The muscle mod is going to be 20% damage. If you want, you can also try to get a master muscle mod, which brings that up to a whopping 25%, but yeah, that's currently what I'm using for this form. As well, there will be Fast Blade Switch 4, because again, we're working with Overclocking Bangle and World Tree Drop. We want to make sure we can get those switches as fast as possible. And there is Poppi Alpha, and because she's a tank, you actually can't give her a strength mod. I tried doing it, it would not let you do it. So what I did is I got a master tank mod, which you can get from Tiger on a rare drop basis. Mind you, quite a few of the things that we do have are from rare drops only. You can't build them yourself, but they're totally worth it considering the difference. The nice thing about this, again, 30% extra HP. With just this one mod, Tora will reach the cap of HP, meaning that you can survive all the attacks. You don't even have to worry about getting a titanium vest. It works really well. And of course, because she only has one skill RAM, Fast Blade Switch 4 on her, no questions asked. But finally, let us get to the star of the show right now. So, currently, I have her completely maxed out for energy converters. As you can see, I cannot increase the capacity anymore. 1450 is all you really need. And there is the muscle mod, as I said earlier before, 20% extra strength just to give Tora more damage. And there is Elemental Core Light. You'll notice that this isn't available from building, so you have to find it inside of Tiger yourself. A very rare drop, but it's completely worth it considering that most of the endgame bosses either are weak to light, particularly Artifice Ophion, or just the fact that light elements can stack on itself if you're trying to build elemental orbs. It's very useful. And there is Critical Up 5, pretty simple arts cards. The thing about her arts, again, these are the things that she casts on Tora during the battle. Critical Up is definitely useful because you're going for that, as well as Recharge Boost. It's nice in clutch situations when you're trying to build your level 3 or level 4 combos. And there is System Reset. So this is a very important move to have. I recommend having this whenever you fight against Tyranitar Kuradil. If he uses his Murder Ray on you and inflicts you with Doom, even though Tora is pretty good at resisting Dooms, if it does happen to you want to make sure that Poppi can clean that off of you so that you don't have to worry about burning an invincibility cooldown or not even having an invincibility cooldown, which would kind of cancel the run. Remember, this is a boss soloing build, so you want to make sure that you have to be self-reliant. Speaking of being self-reliant, we also have Critical Restore for the skill RAM. Pretty obvious why. Critical damage, we have the Critical Up on the arts cards. Like, there's no questions asked for this one. As well, outdoor attack up. The majority of the super bosses do take place outside, so 40% extra damage for free, essentially. And there is Affinity Max Attack 5. This stacks with Poppi's innate ability to give you more damage at max attack, so the additional 50% is definitely something we want to get. We're essentially just stacking damage at this point, because again, we're soloing bosses. We can get like 70,000 damage per line on critical hits relatively quickly, and then when you're doing your specials, you're going to get like 100,000 per line. It's really, really good. Speaking of which, there's going to be her specials. I'm not too concerned about the other two, because again, we don't have enough space to accommodate anymore, but we're going to be focusing mainly on the level 3 combo due to the fact that it has some nice damage properties, as well as a damage over time effect innately with Poppi's character. So what's going to happen here is we're going to be using the Challenger mod, because any character that is higher level than you, whether they're level 100 to level 130, extra damage by an additional 100%. So this is really, really good, because I can see myself hitting like maybe 130,000 to 100,000 per hit on the level 3 special, and especially if they're weak to light, you can do some crazy amounts of damage, and with more damage comes more heals. So just think of it like that. When it comes to her additional skill upgrades, so there is Challenger, so this is going to be higher leveled enemies, additional 80% damage, again stacking damage, and level 3 plus 5, increasing this damage even further by another 60%, lots and lots of damage. And of course there is Avenger. This is going to be the whole point of the boss soloing mechanic that we're going for. Essentially, when any fight begins, you're going to see this in the demonstration later, whenever a fight begins, you are going to cancel all of your switches to build up your world tree drop stacks while your allies are fighting. Eventually your allies are going to fall, and that's when you get your additional 300% damage. It's good all around. It's a really, really fun, exciting way to play, and strangely enough, probably even easier. It's actually probably even easier just to solo bosses than to just have an entire team fight against them with average damage. Poppi QTπ, I've said many times before, even earlier in the video, I said she's potentially the strongest, and I cannot wait to show you what this beast can do. Alright guys, so here we are, Profane Plays, you know the drill. Basically, we're gonna go ahead, target the guy, and then mash left on the D-pad, so that we can have our party members go after them. So one other thing I also didn't mention is the fact that Poppi also has innate reflection. This is really useful for damage mitigation, and we might or might not be making some good use out of that. I think that was 4 switches, 5, 6, 7, 8, sorry, I'm just gonna keep counting here, 9, 10, 11 switches, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. You know, if you guys are bored, just count with me. Just count along. Woo! Okay. And we're good. Just in time. So basically what's going to be happening here is that the reflection buff is quite useful, because whenever he does the rampage train, it really would come in handy for us just to have some more extra defense on us. Not to mention that we do have auto attacks that potentially could crit, but because the crit chance, as high as it is, isn't a 100% chance, meaning that we can't rely on the heals too much. I recommend kind of practicing playing around with the cooldowns of your arts as you're fighting each of the super bosses, particularly for Artifice Ophion. That particular boss actually has quite a few attacks that could kill you really easily and really, really quickly, just due to the fact that it's multiple hits and they're all going to be aimed at you, because again, you're soloing. That being said though, as long as you can play around with it, it shouldn't be that bad. Okay, so here's that rampage train. So because it's like the first phase, he's not enraged yet, the damage I was able to survive relatively easily. That being said though, there are times where if you have 3,000 health. Okay, so here's the Doom. That's a debuff cancel from Poppi. If you're doing a special during the Murder Ray, then she will not be able to do it in time. You do not want to be in that position. Okay, so... Okay, I missed the Photon chance, or sorry, the Gamma Ray chance, so we're going to go ahead and just do another special at level 3. I didn't want to do a level 4 combo because we're not really worried about that too much. I think even if we were to get hit by a Annihilation Ray, if I were just to move slightly out of the range, then I should have reduced damage. Don't need to worry about that as much. Yeah, see, so you see over there, again, not a guaranteed crit chance. That being said though, if you're constantly on him, then you should be able to heal it all back. And also, we have a full party gauge now, meaning that we're also gonna have a bit of a safety cooldown. So you know what? Let's try moving out of the way. We're gonna take a bit of a risk here. Okay, so yeah, that's not so bad. And also, he is weak to light, so we're gonna do some insane amounts of damage. Okay, so again, start canceling all your attacks. Critical up thanks to Poppi. Look how much damage that is. Goodness. Like, I'm a little upset that it hides a little bit behind the health bar. But yeah, that's quite a bit of damage that we're doing right now, isn't it? Yeah, just in time. Woo! Cancel everything. Go into the supernova, and we're gonna do some nice damage over here. Wow. Look at that damage. And speed like a 9 cap damage on this. It's cool. It's really cool. Like, we don't even need to worry about break chances either. And yeah, I guess we're gonna go ahead. Like, the name of the game is just speed build to your level 3 combos. Again, Tyranitar and Kurudel, he has like some weird insta-kill moves, but it's not innately to his attacks. Not like Ophion, where again stacking many hits that will eventually kill you. Okay, so again, cancel your hits as usual. We got lucky because we got him to get weak to light, so that's gonna be some nice damage for us. And you see the health bars going down so quickly too. Let's see. Not really much else that I can say. It's like the build itself. It's just a combination of pretty much every damage build, but because it's Poppi, she's able to accommodate all of them, which is really, really nice. So I'm gonna wait for the auto twin barrel to come up, and then start canceling some more, and then we should make our way to another level 3 combo. And I think, yeah, after this we should be done. Like, this is gonna be lots and lots of damage. Okay, we're just gonna finish her off with good old-fashioned chain attack solo, just like that. Like this video, I'm looking at the recording timing right now. It was like 4 minutes and like 30 seconds. Goodness, it's fast, right? So that's the same thing. Like Artifice Ophion, the only thing that you have to look out for is his Ouroboros drive, because you're doing so much damage, he'll actually kind of skip doing the barrier field to do his other landmark attack, like Ouroboros drive, Calamity Fall, things like that. And yeah, so you kind of just have to plan your own cooldowns accordingly. You can Poppi can solo every super boss except for Gladiator Orion. I think he's the only one that can't do it, just due to the fact that he has really annoying avoidability, which means that you can't get your cooldowns. He also has some annoying crowd control, meaning you can't even attack. And because you're soloing, then there's no one that can save you, no one that can heal you. That being said, though, this build really does work as an attacker, like the best attacker. If you want, you can get rid of Avenger 5 and then change it with something else. You can make it like a new critical chance, perhaps. Yeah, critical 5, since we got rid of that in order to accommodate Avenger 5, you can just do that instead. And like it's you know, it's a lost 150% damage, but you know, you get the survivability. So yeah, I think that basically does it. So guys, thanks very, very much for joining me. I know it's a bit of a grind because you're doing Tiger and spamming the pouch items, but I think it's worth it though. She is the definition of a post-game or end-game blade, and easily my favorite blade in the entire game, and I'm glad I was able to share it with you guys. So guys, take care, and I will see you in the next video.